This week on LandLeader Television.
We are the leaders of the land. Land is what we live on. It can be explored, built upon, and cultivated. Land holds our wildlife, crops and livestock, and the homes in which we live. It provides a resource for your family. It's what our forefathers settled and our brave fight to protect. It asks that you respect it, keep it free, and put back what you have taken. At times, it's purchased, sold, and traded, and it's passed on from generation to generation. So it's our duty as land brokers to be champions of conservation, habitat management, and ownership. We possess a deep love for our land and respect for all it provides. We are LandLeader.
LandLeader Television is brought to you by LandLeader, exclusive properties worldwide. Mahindra, toughest utility vehicles on earth. Gunworks, 1,400 yards right out of the box. Cinch jeans and shirts. Lead, don't follow. And by participating farm credit locations.
Now we're on our way up north to McDowell Plantation. It's one of my favorite properties we have on the market right now. I really love a place like McDowell that offers such versatility in its hunting. You know, the property has flooded hardwood timber, it's got cypress and tupelo gum sloughs, it has CRP upland habitat reforested to hardwood trees, and so it really lets a person enjoy that property from a lot of levels because they can utilize it for waterfowl hunting, upland bird hunting, deer hunting. There's even some turkeys on McDowell as well. Another feature about the property I really love is the cabin area. It sits right on the Little Tallahatchie River, and man, it's just a scenic, beautiful view. Tell me your name, just a little history about your property here.
I'm Peyton Sheppy. My wife is Carol. This is her property here in Minter City, Mississippi. Her family settled this place, as best we could tell, about 1835 is when they got here. The family eventually moved to Jacksonville, Florida, where we met each other. Sort of fell to Carol to take care of this property back in the 1970s. So she and I have been traveling back and forth, since then.
So now tell me what your experience as far as hunting's been like.
Well, we're back and forth all year long, of course, but we typically come over either for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. And then we will have 4 or 5 trips over here for 4 ducks over the season, either myself and Carol or my son-in-laws. Or
what is your favorite place on the property to duck hunt? What's your favorite spot?
Well, my favorite spot and the prettiest spot, I think, is back in the big break, where you've got where you've seen that the big blind back there. That's our favorite spot. That's the prettiest spot at sunrise.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Mahindra and participating farm credit locations.
Landowners, don't settle on a tractor just because of the paint color. Choose the power and performance of a Mahindra, the toughest tractors on earth. Only Mahindra tractors deliver more lift capacity, more built-in weight, and the industry's best 7-year limited powertrain warranty. Standard. And right now, get it all for less than $95 a month. So get your work done, America.
Devout to the Pacific Northwest, Land & Wildlife is a leading real estate firm that offers a diversified and accurate approach to marketing and representing our region's finest rural, farm, ranch, recreational lands, and affiliated resorts throughout the region. If it's about the Northwest, we understand it. If you're interested in buying or selling land in Oregon, Washington, or Idaho, email us or give us a call today. We're eager to assist.
Looking to sell your ranch or farm? Visit LandLeader.com to learn about our exclusive network of the best farm and ranch brokers across the country. LandLeader member brokers are the leaders in their areas, representing the finest properties and providing their clients with the most property marketing in the nation. From ranches and farms to sporting properties and vacant land, we're the largest land marketing company in America. Give us a call or visit LandLeader.com today.
This segment of LandLeader TV is brought to you by Sarton's Heritage Properties.
Tell me how the duck factory got its name.
Well, the ducks were using the low end of that field, and so we put up a levee, put in some control structures, tried to put in some feed, trying to manufacture some ducks. That's how it got the name. Well, the deer hunting on the place is good, and my son enjoys it. And we've got a neighbor, a good friend, who's a good friend, and he enjoys it. He's taken some nice deer, and he's done a good job, I think, of managing the deer, culling deer, and putting out food plots.
Yeah, so it looks like he's been working this area pretty good. You can see all these little sapling trees through here have all been worked over. There's rubs all back through here, so pretty obvious there's a good buck traveling through this area for sure.
My son loves to deer hunt. He's had some good hunts, particularly along the river. He loves to get back in the woods and hunt along the river, and there's some spots along there that are high traffic. We made a search. It took us, a year when we made a search, and then when we met Parker and Jacob, I mean, we knew that they appreciated it, and they, more than anybody else that we talked to, really had a feeling for duck hunting and the deer hunting, but also for the history of the area. We built this cabin in '98, and we were traveling back and forth and spending so much time here, and we really wanted to be on the place. We didn't want to drive back and forth to town. Carol enjoys this. It's all cypress. That was important to her, that it be all cypress, and we've gotten a lot of use out of it. They got the bunk room over the garage, which was, for my son and his buddies when he was younger. It's been a good family place.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Cinch Jeans and Shirts and by Gunworks Rifles.
It comes to this moment. This is what he's prepared for. He's learned the science of long-range shooting. He knows how to select the right gear and how to compensate for wind. He's practiced. He's trained. Now, at 880 yards, he is ready. Gunworks, Long-Range University. Visit gunworks.com.
Now's a great time to buy your next farm, ranch, or recreational property. The premier broker members of LandLeader represent the finest properties available on the market today, from working cattle ranches to income-producing farm ground, equestrian facilities and agricultural land to sporting properties and land rich with mineral rights. Let the LandLeader Network help you find your next piece of land. Tour thousands of properties for sale online at landleader.com.
Welcome to the Middle Fork Ranch. Over 3,000 acres of high mountain meadows, meandering river bottoms, and amazing vistas of Colorado's Rocky Mountains. This historic ranch is now for sale and includes 7 miles of world-class gold medal fishing on the South Platte River, cattle grazing ranch land, diverse hunting for big game, and convenient location just 2 hours from Denver near the town of Fairplay. Contact Dax Hayden today or learn more at haydenoutdoors.com.
This segment of LandLeader TV is brought to you by John Kohler and Associates. We share a common history. We share a common passion. The draw of the land. Leaving it better tomorrow than it was today. The siren song of clay and wagons and birds and fire. It's in our souls, and it's good for the soul. We are the stewards of the land, passed down for more than a century. The plantation belts of the Red Hills, the Low Country, Albany, and Alabama. These are the properties preserved by fire, renewed year after year, the last remaining best hunting lands of the Southeast. We share a common history, a mutual passion, a belief, an ethic, a stewardship, a conservation. There is something here worth preserving. We are the gatekeepers.
Hi, I'm John Kohler, founder of John Kohler & Associates and co-founder of LandLeader. For the last 3 decades, I specialized in the sale of plantations, high-quality land, and ranches across the southern states.
We've devoted our lives, 100% of our time, to these plantation belts. These are some of the most exclusive private estates in America. We are landowners ourselves, the authority in this market. The hunting here is exceptional, but it's more than that. It's about land stewardship, preservation, sacrifice to make these properties better than they were found. It's like-minded people coming together for a better environment. These landowners share a common goal and a common obstacle of preserving some of the last best places in America. At one time, there were over 93 million acres of longleaf pine. Now they cover less than 3% of their original range. The cost of managing these properties and preserving these lands in spite of the cost is where extraordinary people are found. The landowners of today are truly conservationists. Our plantation owners know these special properties could all disappear. And once they're gone, they're gone. There's something here that is worth conserving. We represent owners devoted to deer and turkey hunting in Alabama, the extraordinary quail hunting of the Albany and Red Hills plantation belts, and the duck hunting on the Low Country's incredible river systems, the old rice plantations that were a foundational part of America's history. Defending the plantation market is about proving the intrinsic value of something intangible, and there's nothing more intangible but more powerful than the thrill of being out on your own land. This segment is brought to you by LandLeader, exclusive properties worldwide.
Land is where it all begins. From farmland and working cattle ranches to hunting properties and recreational retreats. We aren't your typical real estate agents. We choose boots over dress shoes and trucks over sports cars any day. We hunt, fish, raise cattle, and grow crops. We understand land.
Are you experienced in farming, ranching, or recreational properties? Do you have a passion for the outdoors? Are you seeking a profession in real estate and land sales? If so, LandLeader is growing our team of real estate brokers and agent members across the country. We offer a strong network, excellent property marketing support, real estate training, and national affiliation of land brokerages that is second to none. For more information on becoming a member of LandLeader, visit us at landleader.com.
This segment of LandLeader TV is brought to you by John Kohler and Associates. When it comes to plantations, few conservation groups are as respected as Tall Timbers Research Station. Dr. Bill Palmer is a leading expert on how to foster exemplary land stewardship through research, conservation, and education.
This afternoon, we're at McDowell Plantation in North Florida. We're just south of Thomasville on the gorgeous Red Hills. We're enjoying a beautiful day. The weather could not be better. We've got great guests, Dr. Bill Palmer from Tall Timbers, my wife and business partner, Erica Kohler, Walter Hatchett, and CJ Brown. We're looking forward to hunt. We're looking forward to talking about the conservation ethic and land stewardship with Dr. Palmer from Tall Timbers. One of the neat things about the Red Hills and a lot of these plantation belts across the Southeast is there's almost an unspoken rule, a challenge to try to outperform each other's property and manage their place for the conservation ethic.
Absolutely, and part of that I think comes from the legacy and the history and the families. They have exactly that, this as you mentioned, unspoken rule to keep it together, to keep it managed well, and not harm their neighbor by making poor decisions. I've never seen it anywhere else.
There's a lot of pride of ownership.
Ton of pride of ownership and a sense of passing it on to the next generation better than they got it.
Now, Bill, being ahead of Tall Timbers, you're involved with almost all these plantations. There's about what in the Red Hills alone?
Oh, a good 190 properties, almost 400,000 acres of like-managed properties that are unlike any other part of the country, with frequently burned uplands and high-quality lowlands and wetlands for over 150 years been managed similarly, to where we have tremendous biodiversity, outstanding hunting culture, outstanding culture associated with the properties, and world-class quail hunting. I mean, there's no other place like it in the world.
That's incredible. Now, out of the 7 plantation belts, the Red Hills, their claim to fame is they're contiguous and the high-quality soils.
Absolutely.
I mean, this Orangeburg soil here on Shimoni, you could grow anything.
It's amazing. I've had managers tell me if they just light it on fire every other year, the quail seem to come. But there's been a lot of work by the managers of these properties, the owners of these properties, Tall Timbers, through their research to develop the best quail management ever. And so the best quail hunting in the Red Hills is now. And part of that reason is the stewardship of these landowners, one beside the other, keeping hundreds of thousands of acres together. And hats off to you and a lot of your colleagues that bring in the right buyers and keep this culture alive. That's so important to Tall Timbers. We have a conservation easement program. We have easements on over 140,000 acres of this wonderful landscape.
Almost half of it.
Almost half of it. And our goal is another 100,000 in the next 10 years. So we're working together to try to maintain what is one of the greatest places in the world to live.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We're both passionate about it.
Passionate about it. Having all that knowledge is critical for someone in your business to make sure people are happy once they buy a property, and you do a great job at that.
Well, thank you. And it's important that these guys understand these are great investments. There's a great store of wealth.
Absolutely.
Now, it costs money to run it annually, but in the long term, these things are incredible.
It is incredible. There's more than one story that I've talked to owners about where they put down what they thought was a significant amount of money 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But when they think about the income they've gained through harvesting timber over the years and what the appreciation of the property has done, and the fact that unlike the people who had doomsayers and over many centuries, the Red Hills continues to prosper. We've added tens of thousands of new acres of quail land in the last 15 years. So it's not going backwards, it's going forward.
No, I agree 100%. I see that constantly. Smaller properties, peripheral properties.
Yep.
It's just fun, and there's something good for the soul.
Yep.
There's something almost biblical about land stewardship. It just feels good. It's the right thing to do.
It's like everyone says, they would much rather go to their neighbor's property to shoot a quail than their own because they love their birds so much because they put that heart and soul into raising them on their property.
I can appreciate that. We're ending a great afternoon.
Beautiful day.
At a great property.
It's unbelievable, and it's an honor to be here.
It is.
And I appreciate you inviting me.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to have you.
Wonderful day.
The wealth and the land ethic that's been injected into Thomasville has created a vibrant downtown community of artisans, craft foods, and sporting goods dedicated to the thrill of that Covey rise. At the heart of downtown Thomasville is Kevin's fine outdoor gear and apparel, the premier source for everything from the hunt to the home. Kevin's collections are tailored to the sporting lifestyle, curated from the finest designers around the world.
We have been blessed with such a wonderful, wonderful history of large tracts of land that have been preserved for hunting and enjoyment and recreation value for over a century from some of the finest families in our U.S. history. I've been fortunate to have seen one of the best real estate people in the area that truly loves the properties as much as I do. His name is John Kohler. He grew up as a young man in my store. John has come to the top as the foremost person in this part of the world that understands these properties, understands the conservation side of these properties, understands and has a passion to keep them intact like they are. John also has developed a plantation map of this Red Hills area, which it's called, where we live. And there's one from Thomasville, Georgia, and there's also a map coming in the future from the Albany, Georgia area, which has plantations and properties like this here in this area. And I think they'll be a great addition if you're an outdoors person and really have visited or want to come here to see what's going on in the area.
Whether it's 116 years on a family like Greenwood or 318 years for a family we helped in South Carolina, all properties will change hands eventually. Our role is to see that there's a strong plantation market and that people appreciate and understand the high values of these rare and unique properties. Our job is also to see that the traditions, legacies, and care are projected forward to the next landowner. Greenwood is a great example of that.
And that's the thing about this forest. It's an old age forest, but yet it's regenerating. And that's the key to the management. Nobody was cutting any trees out of here because of the aesthetics of the property, of this stand, the beauty of it. And also, it's gotten more and more unusual every day. There's nothing like this as far as I know.
After Mr. Neal's last meeting with property owner Betsy Whitney before she passed away, she left him with some strict instructions.
She said, well, I appreciate you coming over. And don't forget, you take care of my trees. That's exactly what she said. You take care of my trees.
There's a story around every tree, every corner. That's pretty fascinating, and so if something happens and you lose a big live oak tree, that's history leaving, and we just need to make sure that we do as best we can to preserve and conserve this property. And fortunately, a lot of people in the Red Hills are doing the same thing.
A lot of them agree with all
They
these
really are. I mean,
there's a special conservation and land stewardship ethic, an unwritten rule that these landowners practice.
We have the responsibility to make sure that this stuff is here, another 100 years from now.
We're essentially the gatekeepers. It's critically important for us to find the right buyer that understands history. They'll carry on these traditions and legacies because things happen, people change, people pass on, needs change, and these things do come and go, buy and sell. But to keep this plantation belt intact, the new owners have to get that. So we have a saying in our company, Max. Typically, we represent the landowner. Sometimes we represent the land buyer, but we always represent the land.
Yeah. And that's right. I mean, because the place has to be vibrant and relevant to today. I mean, otherwise, you know, you got a museum.
Legacy like this is rare, passed down from generation to generation. Fragile, beautiful, special, and unique. We're driven to work the land and preserve it, but it can all disappear. 7 plantation belts across 4 southern states are all that remains of a tradition devoted to hunting, wildlife, and conservation. The plantation market is stronger today than it's ever been. We share Tall Timber's view. We hope there's another 100,000 acres we can add in conservation. We search the world over to find people who understand and appreciate how rare these properties are. These plantations are special. They deserve a gatekeeper. For more information on how to feature your property on LandLeader TV, please visit landleader.com.